Cars have guns. Cars have guns. Morning, everybody. I am Lee Phoenix, Wishy, and today I've got the more entertaining second part of the Cars 3-parter. I don't know if the posters are gonna show. They probably are. The Cars 3-parter. Okay. Are they gonna show up every time? Cars 3-part. Oh my god. Anyway, we're back. So Cars 2. Let's talk about it. This film is one of the most controversial films, in my opinion. I always have an opinion on this thing, and I have an opinion now, and I'll tell you all about it. Get ready for a Fantastic Four style rant here, because I'm about to start ranting. Let's start with the obvious. Cars 1 is a racing film with a bit of life lessons sprinkled in there, but it's mainly a racing film. So how do you go from that to a spy thriller? It's the most far left turn I think I've ever seen in a sequel. The sequels don't even matter. You start, Lightning McQueen is your protagonist, and he's not even the protagonist of this one! Mater's the protagonist, if you're wondering, believe it or not. How do you do that? You don't... I will offer your solution of how you could have actually done it well later on. I'm gonna keep ranting right now. Here are some facts that I wrote on my phone. Let me find it. So the opening scene of the film is a whole spy bit with the new spy character Finn McMissile. He's a blatant ripoff of James Bond, but we move. The film takes 7 minutes 47 seconds to show you Mater. And then it takes a whole extra minute and a second to show you McQueen at 8 minutes 48 seconds. You should not take that long to show your protagonist and deuteragonist. Lightning McQueen should not even be the deuteragonist. Deuteragonist means second lead, for those wondering. This should not. This film already doesn't make sense, and I'm already talking about the first not even 10 minutes of it. Cars have guns. The cars have guns. They've got spy gadgets. They can fly. There's explosions, gunfire, the whole shebang, missiles. It started as a racing film. How do you go from that to cars have guns? I don't get it. I don't get how I don't get. Let's look into the finer facts. Okay, so let's run over the plot real quick, and I'll find somewhere to rant. Ready? The World Grand Prix, was that the WGP? Was that what it's called? Oh, I'm gonna have to Google it. Oh, come on, WGP. Was it the World Grand Prix? Yes. All right, I was right. The WGP was a good idea. It was a good idea. That was one cool bit about the film. It was a very good idea. But not when you make it the underlayer of a whole spy plot. That doesn't make sense. Now, the film itself as a spy thriller is top tier. It's very good as a spy thriller. If this was, I don't know, an original story, let's say live action original story about actual racers in this oil conspiracy plot, it would work. It would work. But need I remind you that this is a Cars film? Cars! Ka-chow! Ka-chow. Yeah, at least it does say ka-chow in this film, I'm quite sure, but... I watched it yesterday and I'm already trying to scrub it from my memory once again. Even Disney are trying to scrub it from their memory. Go on the Cars Pixar channel and find any clip, and at the end they'll promote the DVDs of the film. They'll promote Cars 1 and Cars 3. Cars 2 will not be found anywhere. Try it out. Watch for yourself. If you find Cars 2, tell me in the comments, and tell me which video, and I'll go check it out for myself. But this film doesn't make sense. This film doesn't make sense. I'm not saying it's a bad film. I'm saying it's a film that shouldn't have happened in a Cars franchise. Like, they could have made it as its own super original plot in a separate film. Completely original film. But why would you make it a Cars film? Cars 2, per se. Need I say more? The Cars have guns. They have guns. And there's one of the most brutal death scenes. You could compare it to the time the mirror trick and then they shoot the guy in the head and the brains splatter all over them. It's similar. It's probably on the screen right now. It's the most brutal thing I've seen, and need I remind you, it's a Cars film. I've said it already 3 times and I'm gonna say it about 10 more times probably. It's a Cars film. Let's calm down. Let's go into a bit more of nitty-gritty. Let's actually analyze the plot. Lightning McQueen has just won his 4th Piston Cup. You don't see him race at all in the Piston Cup in this film. He has just won his 4th Piston Cup and he's just made it back to Radiator Springs, ready to go on break. He spent a day with Mater. That was a fun little bit. They did a bunch of stuff. It was a mad thing, and then he wants a quiet dinner with Sally. Mater ends up sneaking in as the waiter for their dinner. On the TV, there's new character Sir Miles Axelrod, fixing a wire. Sir Miles Axelrod, who talks about his new alternative fuel, all in all, and to show the power of it, he's opened up a World Grand Prix racing series, which will have 3 races. It was meant to be originally 6 before they decided to go for the spy plot. 3 races with the best racers in the world, all running on all in all. Also on the TV is famous Formula car in this universe, Francesco Bernoulli. Wait, let me say it one more time. Francesco Bernoulli. He talks about how Lightning McQueen is bad, and he's like, no, a racing car shouldn't want to slow down, and then Mater calls in for McQueen and starts arguing with him, and then they realize McQueen takes the phone and he's like, alright then, I'm in. So now McQueen's in, they have to go to Tokyo. The cars went on a plane, they went on a plane, and they have seats, they park into a seat, and they go into a plane. And then they arrive in Tokyo. Lightning McQueen's a superstar in Tokyo. He goes into a Lightning McQueen shop. The shop guy's face. That's not even important. I don't know why I'm telling you this. And we make it to the World Grand Prix opening ceremony. To make my day worse, I am drinking. Can you wait? Let me switch focus. Wait. Best one 39p. 39p energy drink. That's what I'm drinking. To make it even better. So they make it to the World Grand Prix opening ceremony. I am out of focus big time. Give me a second, guys. That should be better. We make it to the World Grand Prix opening ceremony. And over here, Mater causes a massive scene when he thinks wasabi is pistachio ice cream, and then he leaks oil. We'll get to the leak oil later, and it causes a massive scene. Everyone's laughing at McQueen, and then he ends up in a bathroom, obviously, because he's leaked oil. He thinks he needs to go to the bathroom. In this bathroom is American spy. His name was never specified as an American spy. And then 2 enemy cars start just beating him up. Mater makes it out. The spy sees his chance and sticks the device he needed to get the Finmec missile on Mater, since he's about to, die. The death scene you've seen a bit earlier was him. This is the one that way, so keep that in mind. Mater just, drives on out. They keep beating him up, and then Mater ends up just somehow, some way, talking so smoothly, he ends up making into this entire plot. Then they're at the first race in Tokyo. McQueen and Francesco are close as hell, but while all of that's happening, Holly's infiltrated Mater's headset talking to him, so he's running around, but McQueen can still hear him. So it's a whole thing. Then he sits outside. McQueen moves to the outside. Francesco overtakes. It's a whole thing. Then they finish neck and neck like this. And McQueen loses because of Mater. Then Mater makes it back to the pits. McQueen and Mater argue, which prompts Mater to just get a flight back home. Wait a second. Then McQueen starts feeling bad. Mater's at the airport before getting infiltrated by Finn McMissile, who then gets him out of there to help them out on their little spy mission. And Jesus Christ, this is a Cars film I'm describing. This is a Cars film that I'm describing. Cars film that I'm describing. Cars film. Cars. You know, Lightning McQueen, ka-chow. You don't even see Strip, the King Withers, or Chick Hicks in this one. You don't. You don't. You don't see him at all. Doc Hudson died, by the way. They just killed him off screen. He's dead at the start of the film. Just so you all know that. And they renamed the Piston Cup after him, the Doc Hudson Piston Cup now. That's another thing. Anyway, so they're on the spy mission. They make it onto a plane that's alive. Obviously, there's a spin-off called Planes. 2 of them, actually. I don't think I'll ever cover those, to be honest. My head hurts. It's probably the 39p energy drink. And they make it onto the spy mission. They end up in the next race, which is at Porto Casa, Italy. I've butchered the city name. I forgot it. Porto Casa, I think. And at this race, it's obviously Francesco's home race at this point. They figure out the Lemons, as they're called, which are like cars that always break down. They're called Lemons. Have a massive meeting. There's a tow truck that tows like one of the big cars around, so they end up disguising Mater as this tow truck and then taking tow truck out so Mater can infiltrate. In this process, Finn McMissile basically tries to call Mater's bluff by saying it's such a genius act that he's acting as such an idiot, because you know people are so people don't realize they're getting fooled as they're too busy laughing at the fool. You know, Mater has his whole moment like, what, I'm not an idiot, am I? And then he's like sad and all before he's like forced to just basically infiltrate as this tow truck called Ivan. Makes it to this meeting, a whole thing happens. He ends up with guns. They give him weapons. Yes, Mater now has guns as well. Ends up parachuting out of there. And then my light went off. And then where was I? Oh yeah, then their whole plot goes to, I'll tell you, so all in all, it seems to make cars blow up when an electromagnetic pulse is pointed at it. So they have a fake camera, which they point at cars, they turn up the power, and they blow out, right? So that a massive accident happens in Italy, which means that only Lightning and Francesco finish. Lightning finishes just ahead of Francesco this time. And the whole massive accident happens behind it because of the all in all. And then Axelrod's like, oh, I can't in good conscience continue to require these cars to drive with all in all for the final race. That's a whole thing. Then the 3 spies get captured by the Lemons. And they get trapped in the big Bentley. Not the Big Ben, the big Bentley. This film hurts my brain. Wait, my eyes have gone blurry, bro. Okay. The big Bentley, they get trapped in the big Bentley. Mater actually does something smart and realizes that when he tries to take his guns out, the effect they're spinning, you know, tears the rope slowly. So he keeps just telling it, shoot, 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 shoot. And he finally does make it out. And he goes. Finn McMissile and Holly barely make it out with their lives. Then the final race is obviously in Great Britain, United Kingdom, whatever you want to call it. London. It's in London. And the Queen is there and everything. Yes, there's a car queen. There was also a car pope in the Italian race. At the Italian race, there was a car pope. There's Catholics in cars. What the fuck? And moving on. So the final race is at London. Obviously, they're trying to kill McQueen because McQueen said he trusts Alan All. And they're trying to kill McQueen for saying that, like, completely kill him. Not just blow out and ruin his race, like, kill him. They're turning it up to the max. But the camera doesn't work on him, so then they stuck a bomb on Peter's air filter. This is a Cars film, and we're talking about bombs now. There's a terrorism plot in a Cars film. Oh my god. There's a terrorism plot in a Cars film. They're trying to assassinate Lightning McQueen. Assassinate! How did they come up with this? How did they come up with this? In what world is this a Cars film? In what world? I mean, so Mater ends up with rockets on his back, and McQueen like latches onto him, and they're driving away. There's a big massive fight scene, and then Mater realizes what's going on because of the Whitworth bolts. That's a whole thing. You have to watch the film together. Don't watch it. Hey, you can't watch it. Whatever. Do what. You're not gonna listen to me, are you? Just do what you want. View it to your own discretion. You don't need to watch Cars 1 to watch it. They don't connect at all. Anyway, ends up near the Queen with the bomb. Great. Good job, Mater. And is like pressuring Axelrod. The counter's about like 30 seconds left at this point. He says his whole plot. And then Axel was like, electric cars, yes. He used to be an oil car and then switched to electric. That's the twist. He didn't switch to electric. And he's like, electric cars don't need fuel, you twit. Twit. And so then within like 2 seconds left, he just screams deactivate for the bomb to stop. So then Axelrod is and then they pop the hood and they see the engine they've been looking for. And also, Mater only got into this whole thing because of his car knowledge, because like the secret passcode thing, passphrase, they did to say involved something with like a car engine, air filter or something. No, because it's air cooled. And then they believe him even further when he just mentions everything about the engine photo that they got from this American spy that got killed. Let's not smash the keyboard today, because of course. Let's not smash the keyboard today, but if my screen can stop dying, so I actually have some light on my face, that would be nice. So then obviously they figure out, oh, Axelrod was basically the big boss all along. He owned the biggest oil reserve, which was what we saw at the beginning, and which is why he created all in all. So alternative fuel looks bad, so then people will just go back to normal fuel, and he will make a killing in cash. There's a whole conspiracy. This is a conspiracy at this point, not to mention assassinations, explosions, missiles, guns, cars getting killed. This is a children's film where the first one was all about racing and life lessons. And now we're at assassinations! So then Mater saves the day, they're back at Radiator Springs, and since the last race got ruined, there's a Radiator Springs Grand Prix, which we never see the result of, and it's a whole thing, and then that's the film. That's basically the film. If you didn't get me already, there should have never been a Cars film. And I'm gonna provide my 11-year late solution. The film came out in 2011. This is 2022 now. So 11 years later, I'm gonna give Pixar a solution. All you had to do was start the film off with McQueen winning his fourth Mr. Cup, which he did, but maybe we should have seen it happening, you know, a bit more racing. Seen it happening, you know, he's dominating the American circuit at this point. And then the WGP comes along and it's this big challenge. You could have made Francesco a proper antagonist and made him like McQueen's toughest test yet. he accepts this toughest test yet. You could have the 6 races instead of 3, and just made it all about racing, and McQueen pushing himself to his absolute limit, and just make it a whole story about that, where he needs support from his friends and stuff, and maybe along the way he just gets so absorbed. You could have had still the fight with Mater or something, and then Mater comes back at the end, and made it a whole thing without the spy plot, and he pushes himself to absolute limits. He wins the World Grand Prix after 6 races right at the death. Could have made that a whole thing, where Mater maybe makes it a bit cliche, but Mater gets back on the radio, is like, McQueen, you got this, McQueen, you got this, you know, and McQueen gets the motivation he needs to win. That's a whole thing. You could have made this like McQueen's toughest test yet, and made it a proper film that not only taught kids something, but didn't show them bombs and guns and assassinations at the age of 7. Cars 2 will get a 5.5 from me. And that's the video. I'm done with this. That's the video. You can expect Cars 3 sometime soon. Cheers with the 39p energy drink. Bye bye.